The music teacher walks into the 3rd grade classroom. She tells them there's going to be a parade, and she's looking for kids that know how to play the drums. A hand goes up in the air. A little girl yells, "Yes, I can." The teacher tells them that there will be some tryouts to find the best players. What she doesn't know is that this girl, she comes from a single-parent, low-income family. She doesn't own a drum. She's never taken lessons. She's actually never played a drum in her life. Now I think you can imagine the embarrassment for this girl during the tryouts. Except it wasn't, because she passed. And on the 15th of September, the day of Costa Rica's independence, that girl, she walked representing her school, playing the drums. That girl, she was my fearless mom. Me, I'm from a different kind. I'm the one sitting at the back of the class, heart pounding on my throat, palms sweating, even at the thought of someone asking me to speak up. I did have a fun childhood, mostly thank you to my mom, as you can imagine, because she volunteered me for every school activity there was. I kind of hated it at the time, but I'm so glad she did, because of all the fun memories I have from it all. The lesson I learned, and it took me years to really understand it, is that only those who raise their hand are the ones that take the opportunities. What I have learned through my own life experience is that raising your hand is really hard for a lot of people. Do you have dreams? But not any kind of dreams. You know, the dreams that are so big for you that you never tell anyone, because you know there's always going to be someone who tells you that that thing you want to do, it's never going to work. Or that you're crazy. Things like running a marathon when you're a couch potato. Becoming the CEO of the company that you work for. Quitting your job and traveling around the world. Maybe getting your health finally under control. Or finding the love of your life. How about building that business that goes beyond your wildest dreams? Sadly, studies show that by the 6-month mark, nearly 50% of the people will have given up on their dreams. And by the 2nd year, it goes up to 81%. So if you're someone who has ever said, "One day I will," but you haven't yet, let me share with you today one way in which you can hack your brain to bring this dream into your reality. While it is true that many of us have dreams that have to do with something personal in nature, I know for a fact that there are many people who have dreams that have to do with making this world a better place. Like helping women become more financially independent, bringing more humanity into corporations, teaching people how to communicate better so there's less misunderstandings and less conflict, or giving men a safe space so they can deal with their mental health without the stigma. But when you think that only 2 out of every 10 of those goals will ever become a reality, I know in my heart that it is important that we do something about it. But why? Why is it so difficult for us to take the steps we need to take in order to pursue our dreams? This is the question that often kept me thinking, and in thinking, it brought me to the idea that I'm about to share with you today. But before going on to the idea, I would like to introduce you to two concepts that are part of the background of how I came up with this idea. The first concept is identity. According to the psychologist Carl Rogers, we have something called a self-image. This is who we believe that we are today. This is our current identity. But we also have something called a future self. This is who we would like to become. This is our future identity. What often happens is that we don't fail to accomplish our dreams and goals because we lack ambition, but rather because the actions that we take are based on our current identity and not aligned with our future identity. So let me give you an example. When I was a kid, not only was I very shy, but also I was really bad at sports. You know when you're so bad that not even your best friend will choose you for her team until you're the last one left? I think you get the idea. It was embarrassing to be in the beginners swimming group from the time I entered school until I graduated from high school. It was embarrassing to be the last one at the bat, bases full, and go down on strikes. There was this one test in athletics we were supposed to do, run 5 laps around the soccer field without stopping. Needless to say, I never could. Deep inside, I wanted so bad to be able to do it. In order to avoid the shame, I built around myself the identity of a person who hated sports. I didn't think they were fun. I thought I was so bad there was absolutely nothing I could do about them, and I found every excuse I could to avoid them. Being stuck in this current identity sabotaged every single effort I ever did to try to change. Until something happened without even planning it. And I will tell you what it was, but before I want to talk about the second concept. Humans are visual. About 2/3 of the brain goes into processing visual information. And don't even get me started on visualization. There is plenty of evidence supporting the idea that if you can imagine it, you can create it, as a way of changing our mindset and our actions. However, I have 2 problems with trying to visualize your dreams into reality. The first one is that our short attention span. We live in a world of constant distractions. We're supposed to optimize our online presence to grab people's attention within 3 to 5 seconds. And now you are going to tell me that we need to find the time and the focus to visualize our dreams into reality consistently? I think this is very hard to do for a lot of people. The second problem that I have with trying to visualize our dreams into reality is that I believe that we don't see ourselves enough while doing the things that make us successful. So hear me out. If you're anything like me, I get up in the morning, I drag myself to the bathroom, and while I'm brushing my teeth, I look at myself in the mirror. And the version I see of myself is the one with the messy hair and the tired, sleepy eyes. And that person is the one that's going to change the world? Sure, I'm going to get ready, and I will look a couple of times more in the mirror. But honestly, it's not enough. Because this is what you don't see. You don't see yourself while you're negotiating that high-stakes contract for your company. You don't see yourself while you're working in that very critical project with your team. You don't see yourself while you're coaching that client whose life you're potentially changing forever. You see, we are living the movie of our own life. We are the main actors, but we never get to see the movie. remember that I said that something happened that helped me change my identity? So here's the second part of that story. How I went from someone who hated sports and avoided them with a passion to someone who can walk several days in the mountains carrying her own backpack and actually look forward to it. The change started when I moved to Denver, Colorado. My parents gave me for my birthday the present that would change my life forever. My first real camera. It was a Canon EOS Rebel. I didn't know how to use it, so I took a class. And I went out to take photos of landscapes. I fell in love with photography, and I did not have enough. So I went on nature walks to photograph more landscapes. Little by little, the walks became longer, and the summits became higher. I took photos of the places I went to. I had someone take photos of me while having arrived to those places. I made albums. I shared them with my family and my friends. And later on social media. And something happened. Something clicked in my brain. By actually seeing the transformation, I started believing it was possible. I started believing I was capable. And that is how this idea was born. What if I could use the same principle and apply it to other areas of my life, like business? As a personal brand strategist, could I do the same for my clients? Could I help them get results faster? What if I created a visual identity that aligns not with who they are today, but rather with who they are becoming in order to reach their big goals? So this is how it's done. You need to have and be crystal clear about the vision of where you want to go. Then you need to understand the identity of a person who could actually achieve such a goal, even if you are still not there. Then you need to create visuals, photos, graphics, videos that allow you to see embodying the qualities of that identity. But here's the key. You have to actually use them. Where? Everywhere. Where they are permanently present to you. On a vision board in front of your desk, on your website, on your profiles, on your social media. Because when you start showing up as your future self, not only people start seeing you as someone who can accomplish such a goal, but something clicks in your brain and you start believing it's possible. You start believing you're capable and you start taking the actions that will take you there. Do you know how many times you touch your phone? Me? 25,000 times in a year. I know, it's embarrassing, but I know because I checked. This is the image that I have seen 25,000 times on the screen of my phone during the last year. This is the image that has accompanied my journey for me to be here with you today. And no, it is not about simply photoshopping or creating in AI whatever it is that you want to accomplish. Because if you want real change, it needs to start deeper. It needs to come from a place of authenticity, of knowing where you belong, what you're working towards, and what you're truly destined for. Because only when you create a visual identity of the future that is based on your true identity, on your true authentic self, you are not faking it, you are becoming it. You are creating the change from the outside in. After working with hundreds of people over the last years, you know what's my favorite moment? It's when people get to see their images for the first time. Their eyes open wide, a big smile fills their face. It's like they're looking at themselves in a mirror that is showing them back the best version of themselves. The one that's ready to raise their hand and take those opportunities. And I know in that moment, that's when change starts happening. Now, before you go, ask yourself this question. Is my current visual identity supporting me to reach my big dreams? Because if the answer is no, I think you know what you need to do. Thank you very much.